Okay, friends. Hi, Doc South here. Just remembering, I don't know what got me going on this, but I've spent most of the night reliving childhood fears, things we were terrified of as kids. Yeah, there was quite a bit of stuff. I know what it was. I was listening to one of my old pop-up shows, and in it I was talking about how, as kids, we were terrified of dragonflies. Yeah, yeah, you'd be out maybe playing ball with your friends out in the field. All of a sudden, here comes a dragonfly. Maybe flies over near the pitcher. Pretty soon, we're calling the game because the kids of the dragonfly's flitting around his head and he's scared to death, and for good reason. That the dragonfly would land on his ear, and with that large appendage on the back of most dragonflies, he could, if things weren't done immediately to get rid of that dragonfly, that darn dragonfly could sew your ear right to your head. Yeah, or worse yet, sew it shut. And now you can't hear. Your ear's all like that for the rest of your life. Nothing can be done. And game called. Pitcher having a nervous breakdown. Yeah, dragonflies. They could. They for some reason they could. They could. They seem to especially like bothering people out in the outfield too. You'd hear the right fielder screaming, "My dragonfly's on me, God, God!" And you'd have to take emergency measures. Your friends would run out and with a ball glove kind of swat the thing away. Yeah, you had to be careful. Oh, the dragonfly sewing your doggone earshot was just almost more than a kid could bear. You can imagine the trauma. What else? Oh, every spider we saw was poisonous. Remember back in the day? Yeah, there's only, I think, two poisonous spiders, and actually, as long as you get medical help, I don't think either one of them's too bad for you. The black widow, of course, will leave a pretty welt on you, and so will a brown recluse. Both cases, I think you get some medical help, everything's fine. Black widow, I think it's only the female that bites, the one with the jet black with the red hourglass, and I think it hurts. I believe it'll hurt. Brown recluse, I don't think hurts it, but when it's after it's done, you got this big like boil on wherever the bite was, and that needs attention. But again, nothing, not quite like in the movies where you're. I imagine you might die from fright, but other than that, tarantulas can bite, but they aren't around here unless. Well, I remember dating a girl who had a pet tarantula, and she let it run around the house, but even that, it's more like a crab could probably bite you more than a tarantula would, and that one always seemed to be rather genteel. This girl would keep it on, you'd be on her hand and stuff. Yeah, yeah, it didn't seem to bother her. So, let's see what else. We also believed that there were poisonous caterpillars. Yeah, those big spikes coming out of certain caterpillars. If somehow you had that caterpillar on your palm and it flipped over and it would get you with those stingers, ooh, man, whoa, just look out, look out. What was the other thing? Oh, we're terrified of copperhead snakes. Yeah, copperhead snakes we knew there were no rattlesnakes in New Jersey. Turns out I think there is up in northern Jersey. I think, I could be wrong. Copperheads, yeah, they're around, but evidently the copperhead venom isn't too bad. And there you go. They can hobble to the nearest doctor and they'll figure something out. It's not quite a death sentence, and but again, all these things, we believed there were ants that could if enough of them got on you, they'd eat you right to the bone. And I guess there are such ants in the jungle, but for the most part, there you are. Nothing in New Jersey. Maybe some of those red ants might give you a little bite or something. And actually, I remember I did get bit by a swarm of flying ants once. Yeah. Oh, I can't think of their name. They were kind of a brown ant, and they could fly. For a portion of their life, they could fly. And I was messing with a tree they were turning into a nest. And all of a sudden, man, they're all over me, biting. Woo! I had to go to the doctor for that. But again, that one just came out of the blue. As far as I remember my friend saying, we didn't know ants could bite like that. Look at you. I was all welts. Had to go get, I think, what's the name of the stuff they give you? Oh, can't think of it right now, but it's an anti-inflammatory, and it got me back in shape and no trouble, in no time at all. But geez, and then of course we're always terrified of cooties. God, what if you got a cootie? What the heck? And you didn't get just one cootie. Yeah, evidently you were head to toe with cooties. If you That was usually a sign of unpopularity too. It was always the unpopular kids got the cooties. Yeah, sort of a shame. So well, the cooties, I guess, picked on those kids too, I suppose. Well, and then let's see, we had and then remember this was in the 60s, and it happened mostly in high schools. There was a giant rumor going around that if a girl used sugar to make one of those beehive hairdos, kind of like a sugar solution, there was a severe chance, almost a certain chance, that flies would fly into the hair and work their way down to her skull and lay eggs on her skull, and then the baby flies would eat in through her skull, the skin, the skull, and get into her brain. Yeah, there were evidently verified, as far as us teenagers were concerned, verified rumors of various girls in various towns, never at our school, but at various other schools, where girls, yes, darn near died from all the larvae getting into their beehive hairdo. What was the another thing? It wasn't bugs, but we were very terrified of quickmud as kids. Yes, quickmud was practically certain death. If nothing else, what would happen is, we'd be out playing, and you'd be out, and it maybe be springtime. It was finally a warm day. A lot of the ice melted and stuff. We're running around, and all of a sudden you hear some kid out in the middle of the field screaming, "Help! Help!" And he's up to his knees in quickmud. Yeah, and he went in. Of course, we're yanking and tugging on him. You hear this big when you got him out of there, but then his shoes were, his shoes came off, and those were his good shoes. He was out running around the field in his good shoes. Now he's really going to get it. Actually, that was probably the most dangerous thing going, was quickmud, because you got your pants dirty, you lost your socks and your shoes. Oh, God, and you had to go home. Oh, God, man, you can hear the wailing now when that kid walked in the door. He should have been out in his sneakers instead of his good school shoes, for crying out loud. Kid should have known better. Evidently, quicksand and quickmud can be a problem, but for the most part, the average person will float in it okay. You've just got to pray there's no more water comes. Like, say you get caught in quicksand at a beach, and you go in up to your waist. Well, if that happens at low tide, when high tide comes, you got a problem. But then again, that's why they invented smartphones. Right. Okay. You call home fast and have them come get you. Evidently, there are ways. There must be 1 trillion videos on how to get out of quicksand and quickmud. So you might want to check that out in case. Of course, there's not much you can do when you've messed up your good shoes and you got to go home. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or your good pants. Yes. Remember, that was a big reason why you couldn't get into a fight with a bully, right? Because you were wearing your good pants, right? And that always, that was reason enough not to have the fight. Because even the bully would realize, well, this kid's mom would call my dad, and then I'd get it. It would make sense. If you're wearing your good pants and or your good shoes and they all get messed up, man, there's trouble. There's trouble. Heads will roll. So, well, anyway, watch out for all those spiders and poisonous caterpillars and oh my heavens, all that stuff we had to face back as kids. It's a wonder we made it out of childhood alive. Get right down to it. I'll see you later, friends. Thank you, and God bless. And keep your eyes open for those evil critters out there. Bye now.